The Discovery captain Elena Vasquez pressed her face against the thick glass of the observation deck. In the darkness of space ahead, something massive blocked out the stars. The object was so big that her ship's computers were still calculating its exact size. "How long has it been drifting out here?" she asked her chief engineer, Tom Bradley. Tom checked his tablet. "According to the distress signal we picked up, at least 6 months, maybe longer. The signal is weak and keeps cutting out." Elena nodded. She had been running salvage operations in this part of space for 12 years. She had seen plenty of wrecked ships, but nothing like this. The thing ahead of them was easily 20 times larger than her own vessel, the Persistence. It looked like a giant metal whale floating dead in the void. "Any life signs?" she asked. "Negative, Captain. Whatever happened to that ship? Nobody survived." Elena felt a familiar excitement building in her chest. Every salvage captain dreamed of finding something like this. A ship this size would contain technology worth millions, maybe billions. But something felt different about this one. The design was unlike anything in the human databases. "Tom, run a full-spectrum analysis on that hull. I want to know what it's made of." While Tom worked, Elena studied the mysterious ship through her binoculars. The hull had a strange, flowing design that seemed to blend curves and angles in impossible ways. There were no visible weapons, but she could see enormous engine housings at the rear. Whatever built this thing had technology far beyond anything humans possessed. "Captain," Tom called out, his voice tight with excitement. "You need to see this. The hull composition, and it's not showing up in our databases. The metal alloys, the energy signatures, everything is completely unknown." Elena felt her heart rate increase. An unknown ship meant alien technology. In all of humanity's expansion into space, they had never found proof of other intelligent life. Until now. "Prep the boarding shuttle," she ordered. Full hazmat protocols were going aboard. 2 hours later, Elena floated through the airlock of the alien ship. Her team of 6 specialists followed behind her, their helmet lights cutting through the darkness. The air inside was thin but breathable, though their sensors detected trace chemicals that human lungs had never encountered. The corridors were massive, clearly built for beings much larger than humans. The walls curved in organic patterns, and everything seemed to glow with a faint blue light that came from the metal itself. "Incredible," whispered Dr. Sarah Kim, the team's xenobiologist. "The entire structure appears to be grown rather than built, like they somehow convinced metal to take these shapes naturally." They made their way toward what their scans indicated was the ship's bridge. Along the way, they found the first bodies. The aliens were tall and thin, with elongated limbs and large heads. Their skin was pale blue, and they wore form-fitting suits covered in symbols that pulsed with dim light. 12 bodies so far, reported Martinez, their security specialist. All appear to have died from oxygen deprivation. No signs of violence. Elena knelt beside one of the bodies. The alien's face was peaceful, almost serene. Whatever had happened to this ship, the crew had not suffered. The bridge was a cathedral of alien technology. Curved panels covered every surface, displaying symbols and diagrams that hurt to look at directly. In the center sat a massive chair, clearly meant for someone much larger than any human. "Tom, can you access their computers?" Tom approached one of the panels cautiously. When he touched it, the symbols began to shift and change. After several minutes of careful manipulation, images began to appear on the screens. "I think I'm getting somewhere," he said. "The computer is trying to translate for us. Look at this." The screen showed a 3-dimensional map of their local star system, but with additions that human astronomers had never detected: ships, stations, and what looked like entire artificial worlds scattered throughout spaces they thought were empty. "We are not alone," Elena whispered. "We were never alone." More images appeared. Ships similar to this one, but intact and functional. Cities that floated in space. Beings of various shapes and sizes, all working together in what appeared to be a vast galactic civilization. "Captain," Tom said, his voice shaking. "I found their technical logs. The damage to this ship. It's centered on something they call a quantum drive core. The aliens who built this ship, they call themselves the Zephyrians. They abandoned the ship because the quantum core was too badly damaged to repair." Elena studied the technical diagrams that appeared on screen. She could not understand most of what she was seeing, but one thing was clear. This ship had been capable of traveling between stars in a matter of days, not the decades it took human ships. "What exactly is damaged?" she asked. Tom worked with the alien computer for another 20 minutes before answering. "Near as I can tell, there was an accident during a faster-than-light jump. Something called exotic matter containment failed. The Zephyrians tried to repair it for 3 weeks, then gave up and evacuated the crew. They left it here to drift. Elena walked to the front of the bridge and stared out at the stars. In her mind, she could see the possibilities. This ship contained technology that could advance human civilization by centuries. The faster-than-light drive alone would change everything. They gave up, she said quietly. The aliens who built this incredible ship looked at a damaged engine and decided it was impossible to fix. Captain, Dr. Kim said carefully, we should consider the possibility that they were right. If beings this advanced couldn't repair their own technology. Elena turned back to her team. She had built her entire career on fixing things that other people said were impossible to repair. Her ship, the Persistence, had been salvaged from a wreck that 3 other captains had declared hopeless. Her crew was made up of engineers and specialists who had been told they were not good enough for the major corporations. Tom, how long would it take to tow this ship back to Luna Shipyard 7? Tom did quick calculations on his tablet. 3 months, maybe 4. We'd have to jury-rig a towing system, and we'd need extra fuel. Elena nodded. Luna Shipyard 7 was humanity's most advanced facility, hidden on the far side of Earth's moon. It was where they built the prototype ships and tested experimental technology. If anyone could figure out how to repair alien technology, it would be the teams there. Send a message to Admiral Santos, she ordered. Tell him we found something that's going to change human civilization forever. We need a full technical team, the best scientists we have, and complete secrecy. As her crew began preparing the alien ship for the long journey home, Elena remained on the bridge. She studied the peaceful faces of the dead Zephyrians and wondered what they would think if they knew that the impossible repair job they had abandoned was about to become humanity's greatest triumph. In the distance, Earth was a tiny blue dot among the stars. Soon, that small world would possess technology that could take them anywhere in the galaxy. The age of human expansion was about to begin, and it would start with a ship that aliens had thrown away. Elena smiled. Throughout history, humans had always been good at finding value in what others discarded. This would be no different, just on a scale that no one had ever imagined before. Human ingenuity. Unleashed Dr. Marcus Chen had not slept properly in 3 weeks. The alien ship, now designated Leviathan by the research teams, sat in the massive hangar bay of Luna Shipyard 7 like a sleeping giant. Every day brought new discoveries, and every discovery raised 100 new questions. The quantum drive core is completely fried, announced Jennifer Walsh, the lead propulsion engineer. She climbed down from the maintenance platform, her white coat stained with strange blue fluid that leaked from the alien machinery. Whatever exotic matter they were using, it's completely gone. The containment chambers are cracked in 17 different places. Marcus wiped his tired eyes and studied the holographic display showing the drive core's internal structure. The Zephyrian technology was beautiful in its complexity, but the damage was extensive. No wonder they had given up. What about the secondary systems? He asked. That's where it gets interesting, said Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's computer specialist. Their backup power systems are still functional. The Zephyrians used some kind of zero-point energy extraction, but it only provides about 10% of what the main drive needed. Marcus nodded. For the past month, teams of human scientists and engineers had been taking apart every system on the ship, trying to understand how it all worked. The Zephyrian technology was incredibly advanced, but it was also specialized. Each component was designed to work perfectly with every other component, with no room for improvisation or adaptation. That's their weakness, Marcus muttered to himself. What was that, Doc? Asked Jennifer. The Zephyrians built everything to exact specifications. When something broke, they couldn't adapt. They could only replace it with an identical component. Marcus walked closer to the quantum drive display. But what if we don't try to fix it the way they would? What if we fix it the human way? Jennifer and Yuki exchanged glances. They had worked with Marcus long enough to recognize that tone of voice. He was about to propose something that other engineers would call impossible. Explain, Yuki said carefully. Marcus pulled up new holographic displays showing human fusion reactor designs. The Zephyrians needed exotic matter to create the quantum field that allows faster-than-light travel. But what if exotic matter isn't the only way? What if we can generate the same quantum field using pure energy input? The power requirements would be enormous, Jennifer protested. No human reactor could generate that much energy. Not one reactor, Marcus agreed. But what about 12 human fusion reactors working together? We strip out the damaged exotic matter containment and replace it with a fusion power array. Instead of containing exotic matter, we contain pure energy and use it to create the quantum field artificially. Yuki ran quick calculations on her tablet. The energy conversion rates would be incredibly inefficient. We'd need about 50 times more input power to generate the same quantum field strength. So we give it 50 times more power, Marcus said with a grin. The Zephyrians built their ship to be elegant and efficient. We're going to make it powerful and reliable. Over the next 2 months, Luna Shipyard 7 became a hive of activity. Human engineers began the massive task of integrating their technology with alien systems. It was like trying to graft a gasoline engine onto a Formula One race car, but somehow make it go faster than the original. The fusion reactor array was just the beginning. Tom Bradley, who had become the project's chief integration specialist, discovered that the Zephyrian weapon systems used similar exotic matter principles. The ship's original weapons had been designed to fire precise energy beams that could cut through almost any material. The targeting systems are incredibly rigid, Tom explained to Marcus during one of their daily progress meetings. The Zephyrians programmed them to fire in exact patterns, calculated down to the microsecond, but if you change even one variable, the whole system shuts down. So we replace their targeting systems with ours, Marcus replied. Human weapons are designed to adapt to changing battlefield conditions. The integration of human targeting computers with Zephyrian energy weapons created something neither species had ever imagined. The precise alien weapons gained the flexibility of human military doctrine. Instead of firing in predetermined patterns, they could adapt their output in real time, based on target analysis. Dr. Sarah Kim made an equally important discovery in the ship's medical bay. The Zephyrian life support systems were designed exclusively for their physiology. Humans could not survive long-term using their environmental controls. We're essentially building a human ship inside an alien ship, she reported. New life support, new computer interfaces, new control systems. We're keeping the Zephyrian hull and drive systems, but everything else is being replaced or heavily modified. The most challenging integration came with the ship's computer systems. Zephyrian computers operated on quantum principles that human scientists barely understood. But Dr. Amanda Rivera, a specialist in artificial intelligence, found a solution. We can't reprogram their computers, she explained, but we can build a translation layer, human computers that interface with Zephyrian systems and translate our commands into something their technology can understand. The translation layer became the key to the entire project. Instead of trying to understand alien programming, they created a bridge between human intuition and alien precision. Human crew members could operate Zephyrian systems as easily as their own technology. As the modifications continued, something unexpected began to happen. The hybrid systems were performing better than either the original human or Zephyrian components. The fusion-powered quantum drive was more stable than the exotic matter version. The adaptive weapons were more accurate than the original targeting systems. The integrated life support could maintain perfect conditions for multiple species simultaneously. We're not just repairing their ship, Jennifer observed during a late-night work session. We're improving it. Marcus stood in the main hangar looking up at the transformed vessel. The hull still bore Zephyrian curves and angles, but now it bristled with human additions. Sensor arrays, communication equipment, and weapon systems that had never existed in the original design. The Zephyrians saw a broken ship, he said to Captain Vasquez, who had remained at the shipyard to oversee the project. They saw systems that couldn't be repaired according to their specifications, so they gave up. Elena nodded. What do we see? We see a ship that just needed a different approach, Marcus replied. The Zephyrians built for perfection. We build for durability. They designed for efficiency. We design for adaptability. When we combine both approaches, he gestured toward the transformed ship. In 6 months, human engineers had taken a derelict that advanced aliens had declared beyond repair and turned it into something more powerful than the original. They had not just fixed it, they had evolved it. When do we test the drive system? Elena asked. Tomorrow, Marcus said. We'll know if 6 months of work paid off, or if we've just built the most expensive piece of space junk in human history. Elena smiled. I have faith in human stubbornness. We've never met a problem we couldn't solve by hitting it harder or from a different angle. As the shipyard worked through the night, preparing for the test flight that would determine humanity's future among the stars, none of them realized that their success would soon make them the most feared species in the galaxy. First contact gone wrong. The transformed ship, now renamed Defiance, cut through space at speeds that made Elena's head spin. What had once taken months of travel now took days. The hybrid quantum drive hummed with contained power, 12 fusion reactors working in perfect harmony to generate the impossible energies needed for faster-than-light travel. "Jump complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant David Park from the navigation station. "We've arrived at the edge of the Sol system, exactly where you requested." Elena stood on the bridge, looking out at the familiar stars of home. The test flight had exceeded every expectation. The Defiance was not just functional, it was magnificent. Human engineering had taken alien perfection and made it better through sheer stubborn creativity. "Captain," called out Communications Officer Lisa Chen, "I'm picking up multiple signals on frequencies we've never used before. The patterns they're not human." Elena felt her stomach tighten. "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with a complex harmony of sounds that seemed to follow mathematical patterns. It was beautiful and alien, unlike any human language or communication system. "Ma'am," Lisa continued, her voice tense. "The signals are getting stronger. Something big is approaching our position." On the main screen, space began to shimmer. Reality seemed to fold in on itself, and then 5 massive ships appeared out of nowhere. Each one was similar in design to the original Leviathan, with the same flowing curves and organic angles. But these ships were intact, functional, and clearly armed. "Unknown vessel," came a voice through the communication system speaking in perfect English. "You are operating a stolen Zephyrian ship in violation of galactic salvage laws. Prepare to be boarded for inspection and confiscation of illegal technology." Elena looked around the bridge at her crew. After months of working with alien technology, this moment had always been a possibility, but she had hoped for a friendlier first contact. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the human starship Defiance. The vessel you refer to as stolen was found derelict and abandoned. According to human salvage law, we claimed legal ownership through recovery and repair." There was a long pause before the alien voice responded. "Human? Impossible. No species in this sector possesses the technology for faster-than-light travel. Identify yourself properly and prepare for boarding." Elena made a decision that would change the course of human history. This vessel was abandoned as worthless by its original owners. We made it better. The alien ships moved into attack formation. On the view screen, Elena could see weapon ports opening along their hulls. "Unknown vessel, you will surrender the stolen Zephyrian technology immediately, or we will take it by force. Your species is not authorized to possess faster-than-light capability." Tom Bradley, who had remained on the ship as chief engineer, looked up from his console. "Captain, their weapons are charging. Energy signatures are similar to ours, but about 60% of our maximum output." Elena smiled grimly. The aliens were threatening them with weapons less powerful than what the Defiance now carried. Human modifications had improved every system on the ship, including its ability to fight. "Helm, move us into a defensive position. Weapons, bring all systems online but do not target the alien ships yet." "Captain," called out Dr. Kim from the science station, "I'm detecting 512 life signs on the lead ship. These aren't just military vessels, they have families, civilians." Elena nodded. Despite the hostile situation, she had no desire to start an interstellar war by firing first. "This is Ambassador Kethvar of the Zephyrian Empire," the alien voice announced. "You primitive creatures have somehow activated technology beyond your understanding. Return our property, and we will consider allowing your species to exist under our protection." The word primitive hit Elena like a physical blow. She thought of the months of brilliant work by human engineers, the innovations that had made the Defiant superior to its original design. She thought of every breakthrough, every impossible solution, every moment when human creativity had succeeded, where alien perfection had failed. "Tom," she said quietly, "show them what human primitives can do. Bring the quantum drive online, full power." The Defiance began to glow. Energy readings that the alien sensors had never seen before lit up their detection systems. The hybrid drive systems, powered by human fusion technology and controlled by adaptive human computers, generated quantum field strengths 50% higher than standard Zephyrian specifications. "Impossible," came the ambassador's voice, no longer confident. "Those energy readings, they exceed our original design parameters." Elena opened the channel again. Ambassador Kethvar, you abandoned this ship because you couldn't fix it. We didn't just fix it, we improved it. Every system on this vessel now performs better than your original specifications. To prove her point, she ordered a demonstration. The Defiance accelerated to speeds that made the Zephyrian ships look stationary. It performed maneuvers that should have torn the hull apart, but the reinforced human structural modifications held firm. The ship's adaptive weapon systems locked onto all 5 alien vessels simultaneously, something the original rigid targeting computers could never have accomplished. Your weapons, Elena announced calmly, are operating at 60% of our capability. Your engines produce 70% of our acceleration. Your shields run on technology we've already surpassed. You gave up on this ship because you thought it was impossible to repair. We made it into something better than you ever imagined. The alien formation began to spread out, clearly preparing for battle. But Ambassador Kethvar's voice had lost its commanding tone. What you have done violates the natural order of technological development. Species are not meant to integrate technologies from different evolutionary paths. Maybe that's why you've been stuck at the same technological level for so long, Elena replied. You see incompatibility where we see opportunity. You see impossible repairs where we see interesting challenges. The lead Zephyrian ship fired a warning shot across the Defiance's bow. The energy beam was impressive, but Elena's crew had seen their own weapons in action. The human modifications had made their energy output nearly twice as powerful. Tom, return fire. One shot, target their forward shields. Show them the difference between their technology and ours. The Defiance's main weapon discharged a brilliant beam of energy. It struck the Zephyrian ship's shields and overloaded them instantly. The alien vessel rocked backward from the impact, its defensive systems failing completely. Impossible, Ambassador, Kethvar whispered over the open channel. Our shields are rated for maximum Zephyrian weapons output. Your weapons, Elena said patiently, but not ours. We took your technology and made it better through human innovation. What you call impossible, we call Tuesday afternoon in the workshop. The 5 Zephyrian ships began to withdraw, their formation breaking apart as they realized they were outgunned by their own abandoned technology. This is not over, humans, came the Ambassador's final transmission. The Hegemony Council will hear of this threat. You cannot be allowed to upset the galactic balance with your chaotic approach to technology. As the alien ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Elena stared out at the stars. In trying to make peaceful contact, they had instead made enemies. The aliens saw human technological adaptation as a threat to their established order. Captain, Tom said quietly, I don't think they're going to leave us alone. Elena nodded. Then we'd better be ready for them. Contact Luna shipyard. Tell them we need more ships, and we need them fast. If the galaxy thinks human engineering is a threat, we're going to show them just how right they are. The Defiance turned toward home, carrying news that would transform human civilization forever. The age of human expansion had begun, but it would not be the peaceful exploration they had hoped for. The galactic response. The emergency session of the Hegemony Council had been called within hours of Ambassador Kethvar's report. Representatives from 47 different species gathered in the great chamber that orbited the galactic core, their various forms of communication creating a symphony of clicks, whistles, harmonics, and telepathic projections. High Counselor Vexhai of the Altarian Collective called the session to order with a pulse of bioelectric energy that every species could understand. The holographic display at the center of the chamber showed tactical readings from the encounter with the human ship. The Zephyrian Empire has presented evidence of a significant threat to galactic stability, Vexhai announced. A previously unknown species has somehow acquired and modified advanced technology in ways that violate our understanding of technological development. Ambassador Kethvar stood to address the council, his tall, pale form trembling with what other species recognized as extreme agitation. Honored counselors, what we witnessed defies all established principles of galactic civilization. These humans took our abandoned vessel and somehow made it more powerful than our original design. A wave of disbelief rippled through the council chamber. Counselor Thren of the Crystalline Dominion projected pure skepticism. Impossible. No species has ever successfully integrated technologies from different evolutionary paths. The fundamental incompatibilities prevent such hybridization. Yet the evidence is undeniable, Kethvar replied, gesturing to the holographic data. Their energy outputs exceeded our design parameters by 47%. Their quantum drive generated field strengths we thought physically impossible. Their weapon systems demonstrated adaptive targeting that our computers cannot match. Elder Siphon of the Void Touched spoke through quantum fluctuations that translated as deep concern. If this report is accurate, these humans represent a paradigm shift that could destabilize the careful balance we have maintained for 3,000 years. The Hegemony Council had governed galactic civilization for millennia through a simple principle: technological advancement was slow, predictable, and followed established patterns. Each species developed along predetermined paths, and conflicts were resolved through diplomacy, backed by well-understood military capabilities. Counselor Zara of the Mechanic Union, whose species had mastered artificial intelligence and robotics, projected her analysis through her synthetic body. I have reviewed the data extensively. The human approach appears to involve taking multiple incompatible technologies and forcing them to work together through crude but effective integration. Methods. Crude? Kethavar's color shifted to deep purple, indicating outrage. Their modifications made our technology superior to our original specifications. They accomplished in months what our finest engineers declared impossible. The debate continued for hours. Some counselors dismissed the human threat as exaggerated. Others called for immediate military intervention. The Militant Order of Carthul, a warrior species that served as the Council's enforcement arm, demanded permission to eliminate the humans before they could develop further. But it was Counselor Lyris of the Preservation Institute who asked the most troubling question. What happens when they find more of our derelict ships? The chamber fell silent. Every species in the galaxy had abandoned technology over the millennia. Ships deemed unrepairable, experiments that had failed, colonies that had become too expensive to maintain. The void was littered with the discarded attempts of advanced civilizations. The humans used the word salvage, Kethvar reported. Their entire encounter with our technology was accidental. They were searching for abandoned materials to recover and sell. Elder Siphon's quantum signature indicated growing alarm. If they can transform one derelict into a threat, what happens when they systematically search for others? Meanwhile, 3 sectors away from the council chamber, Captain Elena Vasquez was learning the answer to that question. The Defiance had returned to human space to find Luna Shipyard 7, transformed into the center of the largest military buildup in human history. Admiral Santos greeted Elena in his office overlooking the construction bays. Through the massive windows, she could see 12 more derelict alien ships in various stages of restoration. Your first contact report caused quite a stir, Santos said with a grim smile. Every government on Earth wants to know how soon we can have a fleet of ships like the Defiance. Elena studied the construction activity below. Human engineers were swarming over hulks from at least 6 different alien species. How many derelicts have we found? 43 so far, and the search is just getting started. It turns out the galaxy is full of abandoned technology, ships, stations, entire industrial complexes that various species have written off as unrepairable or too expensive to maintain. Dr. Marcus Chen joined them, looking exhausted but excited. Each alien species we've encountered had different reasons for abandoning their technology. The Zephyrians couldn't adapt when systems failed. The Christek abandoned their biomechanical hybrids when they decided the integration was too complex. The Void Touched left behind dimensional manipulation devices when they couldn't stabilize the quantum matrices. And we can repair all of it? Elena asked. Better than repair, Marcus replied. We can improve it. Each alien technology represents a different approach to solving fundamental problems. When we combine multiple approaches, he gestured toward the construction bays. Ship 7 down there combines Zephyrian quantum drives, Christek biomechanical processors, and void-touched dimensional storage systems. It's like having the best engineers from 3 different species working together, except they're all human engineers who aren't bound by any single species' technological assumptions. Elena felt a chill as she realized the implications. The aliens see this as a threat to galactic stability. Admiral Santos nodded. Intelligence reports indicate that the Hegemony Council is debating military action. Some species want to negotiate with us, but others see human technological adaptation as too dangerous to allow. Why are they so afraid? Elena asked. Marcus pulled up a holographic display showing galactic technological development over the past 1,000 years. Look at this progression chart. Every alien species follows predictable development paths. They advance slowly, in steps, always building on their previous work. They've created a stable, predictable galaxy where everyone knows their place. And then we show up, Elena said, understanding. And then we show up, Marcus agreed. We don't follow any predictable pattern. We take their discarded failures and turn them into our greatest successes. We combine incompatible technologies and make them work better together than they ever worked separately. From their perspective, we're chaos incarnate. Through the window, Elena watched human crews working on what appeared to be a massive space station that had been abandoned by a species called the Builders. According to the reports, the Builders had given up on the station when its quantum processing cores had become contaminated with dimensional instabilities. Human engineers were using those same dimensional instabilities to create the most powerful computer array ever conceived. How long until the fleet is ready? She asked. 6 months for the first squadron, Santos replied. 18 months for a full battle group. But Elena, we need to be prepared for the possibility that they won't give us that much time. As if, summoned by his words, Lieutenant Chen burst into the office. Admiral, we're receiving multiple faster-than-light signatures approaching the outer system. Large formation, unknown configuration. Elena looked out at the construction activity. With new eyes, humanity had stumbled into a galactic civilization by repairing what others had thrown away. Now that same civilization was coming to stop them. How many ships? Santos asked. Preliminary count suggests over 200 vessels, representing at least 15 different species. Elena smiled grimly. I guess they decided we're too dangerous to ignore. Santos began issuing orders for system defense, but Elena was already thinking beyond the immediate threat. The galaxy had made a mistake in underestimating human adaptability once. They were about to do it again. Admiral, she said quietly, I recommend we launch every ship that can fly, even the ones that aren't finished yet. Elena, most of those ships are still in testing phases. We don't know if all the hybrid systems will work under combat conditions. Elena looked out at the incredible variety of alien hulls being restored with human innovation. Then I guess we're about to find out. The new galactic order. The coalition fleet that emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. 237 ships representing 19 different species, all united in their determination to end the human threat before it could spread further. Admiral Kekstar of the Zephyrian Empire commanded the massive fleet from his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of vessels from the Crystalline Dominion, the Void Touched, the Mechanic Union, and 15 other species who had contributed ships to the stabilization force. Initial scans show approximately 40 human vessels in the inner system, reported his tactical officer. Their energy signatures are unusual. I'm detecting technology from at least 8 different species on each ship. Kekstar studied the readings with growing unease. The human ships showed power outputs that varied wildly from vessel to vessel, as if each one had been built using different principles. Some registered energy levels below standard Zephyrian warships, while others showed impossible readings that exceeded anything in the fleet's databases. They're using our own abandoned technology against us, he muttered. How many of our derelicts have they recovered? Unknown, sir. But intelligence suggests they've been systematically searching for abandoned technology throughout this sector for several months. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Elena Vasquez watched the massive enemy fleet through sensors that combined Zephyrian precision, Crystec biological processing, and void-touched quantum detection arrays. The hybrid system gave her tactical information that no single alien species had ever possessed. Admiral Santos, are you seeing this? She asked through the communication system. I see it, Elena. 200+ ships, and they're all here to kill us. Santos's voice came from the command center deep inside Luna Shipyard 7, where he was coordinating the defense of human space with resources that hadn't existed 6 months earlier. Status on the fleet? Elena asked. 38 ships are combat ready, though I use that term loosely. Half of them are still running on experimental systems that we've never fully tested. Elena looked around her bridge crew. Tom Bradley was at the engineering station, monitoring the fusion-powered quantum drive that had started this entire conflict. Dr. Kim was at sensors, using her understanding of alien biology to interpret the coalition's formation patterns. Lieutenant Park was at navigation, plotting courses using mathematics that combined human intuition with alien precision. Captain, Tom reported, I'm picking up a communication from the enemy fleet. Put it through. The main screen filled with the image of Admiral Kekstar, his pale blue features rigid with determination. Human vessel, This is Admiral Kekstar of the Galactic Stabilization Force. You have violated the fundamental laws of technological development and threatened the peace that has existed for 3 millennia. Surrender now, and your species will be granted protectorate status under the Hegemony Council. Elena stood and straightened her uniform. Admiral Kekstar, this is Captain Elena Vasquez. We have violated no laws except those that exist to preserve the technological stagnation of your galactic order. We found abandoned technology and made it better. If that threatens your peace, perhaps your peace wasn't worth preserving. Your chaotic approach to technology integration is an abomination, Kekstar replied. You force incompatible systems to work together in ways that violate the natural order. The natural order, Elena said with a smile, says that broken things should be fixed, not thrown away. Your definition of impossible is our definition of Tuesday afternoon. She cut the communication and turned to her crew. All ships, this is defiance. They came here expecting to face primitive humans using stolen technology. Let's show them what human engineering can really do. The human fleet began to move, and immediately the alien sensors registered readings that shouldn't have been possible. Ships that had been built by completely different species were now working in perfect coordination. Their various technologies integrated through human innovation into a unified fighting force. The Restoration, built on a Christech biomechanical hull, moved with organic fluidity while firing weapons powered by Zephyrian quantum cores. The Innovation, constructed around a void-touch dimensional manipulation device, seemed to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, while its hybrid targeting systems locked onto enemy ships with impossible accuracy. Their formation makes no tactical sense, reported Kekstar's tactical officer. Each ship appears to be operating on different principles, but they're achieving perfect coordination. It's chaos, Kekstar said. Attack pattern Omega. All ships target their largest vessels first. The Coalition fleet opened fire with weapons that had maintained galactic peace for centuries. Energy beams, quantum torpedoes, and exotic matter disruptors filled space with deadly light. It was the combined military might of 19 advanced civilizations, focused on eliminating the human threat. But the human ships didn't fight like any military doctrine the aliens had ever encountered. Instead of maintaining formation and trading shots at long range, they adapted constantly. Ships equipped with void-touch dimensional systems appeared behind enemy vessels. Others used Christech biomechanical hulls to absorb and redirect incoming energy. The Defiance demonstrated the full power of human technological integration by engaging 5 enemy ships simultaneously. Its hybrid shields, powered by fusion reactors and controlled by adaptive AI systems, absorbed weapon impacts that should have destroyed it. Its weapons, enhanced far beyond their original specifications, returned fire with devastating effect. Impossible, breathed Kekstar, as he watched his flagship sensors track the human ship. It's moving faster than our quantum drives should allow, firing more accurately than our targeting computers can calculate, and absorbing more damage than any ship's shield should handle. Sir, called his communication officer, I'm receiving surrender requests from the Mechanical Union Squadron. Their entire formation has been disabled by a single human vessel. Kekstar looked at his tactical display in growing horror. The largest military fleet in galactic history was being systematically dismantled by 40 human ships that shouldn't have been able to work together, shouldn't have been able to match their firepower, and definitely shouldn't have been able to coordinate technologies from multiple species. How are they doing this, he demanded. His science officer, a void-touched entity capable of processing quantum mathematics in real time, provided the answer. Admiral, they're not following any single species approach to warfare. They're combining all of our approaches simultaneously. On the screen, the human ships demonstrated exactly what that meant. A vessel built on a Zephyrian hull used Christech, biological adaptation, to modify its weapons mid-battle. Another ship employed void-touch dimensional manipulation to attack from impossible angles, while its Mechanic Union AI systems calculated targeting solutions faster than any organic mind could comprehend. Elena watched the battle unfold from the bridge of the Defiance. The Coalition fleet was falling apart, not because they lacked courage or firepower, but because they couldn't adapt to humanity's chaotic approach to problem-solving. Captain, Tom reported, the enemy flagship is requesting communication. Put him through. Admiral Kekstar appeared on screen again, but his rigid composure had cracked. How? How are you doing this? Elena considered her answer carefully. Admiral, your species gave up on technology that they couldn't make work perfectly. We took that same technology and made it work well enough. You see incompatible systems. We see components that just need better integration. Your approach violates every principle of stable technological development, Kextar protested. Your approach, Elena replied, led to a galaxy full of abandoned solutions to problems you couldn't solve. We're not violating your principles, we're proving they were wrong. The coalition fleet began to withdraw, their formations broken and their confidence shattered. But Elena opened a general communication channel to address all the alien ships. This doesn't have to be about conquest or domination, she announced. We're not trying to destroy your civilizations. We're offering to help you solve the problems you've given up on. Every piece of technology you've abandoned, every project you've declared impossible, every innovation you've rejected because it didn't fit your established patterns, we can make it work. There was a long silence before Admiral Kextar responded. And what do you want in return? Elena smiled. Recognition that there's more than one way to solve a problem. Trade agreements that let us exchange our integration techniques for your advanced materials. And maybe, just maybe, the chance to show you that chaos isn't the enemy of order. It's the source of innovation. 6 months later, the first Galactic Innovation Exchange opened in orbit around Earth's moon. Ships from dozens of alien species arrived daily, their cargo holds filled with impossible projects, incompatible technologies, and irreparable devices that human engineers examined with the enthusiasm of children receiving new toys. Elena stood on the observation deck of the Defiance, now serving as the flagship of humanity's diplomatic corps.